The following is a presentation of TFNN.
This story began on a nice Florida winter day, December 10th, 2005, when a lone fisherman in Mosquito Lagoon, out near Cape Canaveral, discovered a crab trap that appeared to have something caught inside of it. As the fisherman looked closer, he noticed that a baby dolphin was tangled in a rope that had cut off the supply of blood to the dolphin's tail. The fisherman cut the rope and called for help because he saw this dolphin was struggling. The dolphin, later named Winter, was brought to the Clearwater Marine Aquarium, but too much damage was done to her tail, and it could not be saved. Now, folks, the greatest gift you can give anyone is the gift of your attention. And that is exactly what Winter received from a group of prosthetic engineers who created an innovative new design for a prosthetic tail. Winter, she's doing just fine, and her story of survival and success has gone on to touch others, many, many others. These are folks that need a more flexible prosthetic. We can't control the circumstances of life, folks, only how we respond to them. Circumstances are like the wind. Learn to set a good sail, folks, and let the wind take you to your dreams, your treasures, and your destination. Welcome to TFNN. We're glad you're here and you have our attention.
It is now time for The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, all you wonderful money masters and treasure hunters. Welcome to the March 15th fantastic Friday edition of today's Opening Bell on the Trader's Edge. I'm your host, Steve Rhodes, and thanks so much for joining me, folks. I absolutely treasure your presence here today, and my outcome, as always, is to help you to become a better money master and to provide you with the tools that each of us need in order to lead an inspired life, because leading an inspired life, folks, that is what it's all about. So let's go take a look at one of our tools. This is the tool I call the human spirit. What a great tool, especially on a fantastic Friday. You know, we've all heard about people who have exploded beyond the limitations of their conditions. You've seen example after example, and these are the folks that really become examples of the unlimited power of the human spirit. Well, you and I, if we're not already, you and I can make our lives one of these legendary inspirations as well. All that we need is the courage and the awareness that we can control what happens in our lives. Yes, we can't control the events in our lives, what I like to refer to, and I think you should refer to, as just simply life circumstances. But we can control our response to those events. We can control the actions that we take as a result of those circumstances. Circumstances, folks, they are like the wind when you are sailing. And the wind just simply happens to all of us. The whole key out there, the key is that you can control when and where to plant that sail. That is the real key. Control what you can control, plant that sail, and let those life circumstances, well, just simply let them be the wind at your back. So if there's anything in your life that you're not happy with, make a decision right now. Make a decision about how it is that you're going to change it. There is no time like the present because, folks, that is the gift of the human spirit, and you have the best human spirit on this planet. 877-927-6648. That's our call-in number. We'd love to hear from you right now. Futures relatively flat out here. Dow futures up a couple points. ES mini trade out at 1556, totally flat out there. NASDAQ futures up about 3.5 points. We do have things that aren't flat in the marketplace. And, of course, that's in the currency side of the market. King dollar back about 55 ticks right now. Really all about the euro and the pound out here. We'll take a look at those charts as well, because those are really the charts here that are moving in the marketplace. Commodity-wise, you've got gold flat out at $15.92. It's really up 80 cents. No big shake there. Silver's up about 3 pennies out at $28.84. Light sweet crude up a bit more. Light sweet crude up 52 cents. That's a stinger. Trading out at $93.55. Copper up just a tad across the pond right now. The DAX is off 10 points, no big deal there. The FTSE down a little bit more, about 0.5%. FTSE's off about 34. Over in Asia last night, a little bit of a mixed bag. Yeah, the Nikkei, well, of course, the Nikkei was up 179 points, another 1.5%, or percentage and a half out there. Hang Seng, though, down 0.4% off of 86. And the Shanghai relatively unchanged, up 0.3%, up 8 points. Again, our call number is 877-927-6648. If you're listening on the radio or your mobile device at tfnn.mobi. Thanks so much for doing that. Remember, you can always see this show streaming live to you. That way you'll be able to get the charts. Just simply go to the homepage at tfnn.com. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see a button area with 3 smartphone-type devices. Click on that. This show will stream to you live. All of our shows can stream to you live on your devices. And you can always catch the archive of this show on Channel 9. Let's start off. Really, I've got the what I've got up on my screen here right now are the 4 quadrants of the futures contracts. I've got the ES Mini, the S&P futures, the NASDAQ in the upper right-hand corner, Russell 2000, lower left corner, and the Dow futures in the bottom right out there. But since that's really, there's nothing a whole lot moving here on the intraday time periods, let's go ahead and let's peek in on the daily. Because on the daily here, what happened yesterday, finally, the ES Mini tagging the area of that October 11th swing point. That number, 1556.25. Right now, you've got the ES Mini trading out at 1556.25. How about that? Just as if it was on cue out there. And that, folks, yesterday you had a rejection of that level on a little bit lighter volume, really the first time that you had a rejection. Now, the S&P cash made it into the October 11th swing point last Friday. So this has taken a full week, really, but just less than a week, I suppose. Now, last Friday, the S&P actually closed into it. We'll see if today, if the ES Mini closes inside 1556.25. But if you've been listening to the show, you know I've been calling for the S&P more likely to make its move up to the high out there. That high, we'll take a look at that as well when we switch over to the cash indexes out here. But if, in fact, you get the ES Mini closing above 1556.25, just another signal that the S&P cash wants to make a run for its highs out there. Does that mean it'll make the run today? Could. But just simply means that it really wants to make a run out there. That's probably the most significant index chart for everybody to be paying attention to today. In the pre-markets here right now, you've got Apple trying to make its move. It's going to open up above the 435 level. That's the area that has acted as resistance. As you know, old resistance can become what? Can become new support. In fact, when Apple cracked that 435 area, did it on lighter volume. All the tests up through that have also been on lighter volume. But so the second chart I would say that you would be paying attention to today would in fact be Apple. Right now in the pre-market trade out at 439.87. With regard to other equities here, moving to the market, you've got CenterPoint Energy. They closed at $21.84. They're up about $2. $23.98 was the last trade that fired off. You've got Trulia. That is one of the, I believe that's one of the internet housing stocks out there. They closed at $30.41, trade out at $31.11. Getting a haircut, though, this morning. Ulta Salon. I don't know if you've ever been in an Ulta Salon, folks. I did go in there. What a supermarket for shampoos and things like that. I never knew that there were so many. Ulta Salon, though, having a haircut this morning, early morning haircut. They closed at $88.37, trading down at $75.86. We'll certainly peek in on that stock as well. Great Lakes Dreams, GLDD is the ticker symbol. Great Lakes Dredge, I should say, Dredge and Dock. For some, that's a dream out there. They closed at $8.97. They're getting a little bit of a haircut as well, trading out at $7 right now. But let's go switch over into the currency market because that's really where the majority of the action in today's markets has been. For those of you that were have been listening to the show, I'll put the daily chart here for the Great British Pound Dow. Let's put that out here. The bulls definitely stepped in. We were looking for a bullish sign out here. In anything that you trade, if a market is moving down, you don't have to, people talk about the falling knife or what have you. Well, when the bulls show up, the knife basically stops its move to the downside. That's really where you want to start taking a look at entering any type of position. Now, specifically when you've got some other patterns that are completing. I mean, that's the beauty of it. And we know inside the Great British Pound U.S. dollar, whether we were taking a look at the weekly chart, the daily chart out there was forming a 0.786 Gartley buy pattern. Never made it right down to the exact number, but we use those Fibonacci retrace. Now, oftentimes those Fibonacci retracement numbers, for some reason, will get hit right to the penny. But when they do get hit right to the penny or right to the tick or right to the pip out there, it's more of an amusement than it is, hey, that's how you should trade it. You're using it as a guideline. You're using it as a general area. And what you are waiting for is with price moving down, you're waiting for the bulls to move in. With price moving up, you're waiting for the bears to move in. And those are your signals out there. That should be used, those candlestick signals should be used with every trading system, not a single trading system. Doesn't matter to me whether you're using Bollinger Bands or you're using A, B, C, D patterns or anything out there. You want to make sure that you've got the candlestick confirmations. In the case of the Great British Pound, on the 12th out there, form that nice hammer candle, got some follow through on that following trading session, got a bullish engulfing candle. That's really all that you needed out there, and now we've had just a nice pop. Now, what you need to do just simply what you should do in order to be able to understand the breathing pattern inside the marketplace is to just go down and take a look at an intraday chart. We have been showing here the 60-minute chart just simply because it was easier to be able to show you all the beautiful patterns that have been created one after another. Just take a look at Gartley buy patterns or sell patterns that turned into butterfly expansion patterns out here. And you can see this really just, we went through this yesterday. You can take a look at yesterday's archive show, but coming off of just simply choosing the February 19th level. Why? Because just simply was all I could really fit on one screen at one time for everybody to be able to get this view. And it's a beautiful view of patterns that are out there, being able to use candlesticks. And the whole key here, the trend has absolutely changed. And the trend has changed because we now have our first expansion pattern on the way up. So the daily chart gave us a signal with that bullish hammer candle with the bullish engulfing out there. And on the intraday charts with regard to identifying whether the trend has changed or not, it absolutely has. Now, ahead of time, and yesterday morning early on, what I was looking for to understand that the trend had changed, because I already saw the daily bullish candles out there, but I wanted to see on an intraday chart, I wanted to see an expansion. I wanted to see, instead of this 1.618 or 1.272 expansions to the downside, I wanted to see an expansion now to the upside. To me, that was the real signal that this move was absolutely underway. And the move has got quite a bit further to go. Now, what happened here yesterday is that we moved right into that 1.272 butterfly. That was at the price point of about 150-105. That took place at about 12 noon out there. You can see you had this little high wave candle that came in right at the, remember, we're looking at an hourly chart out here. Now, when you trade currencies, hourly charts are just fine because you got the currencies trading around the clock. I don't recommend that you use hourly charts when you're taking a look at a cash index, an ETF out there, because you got a 6.5 hour trading period and it just simply doesn't line up. So in that case, you want to make sure that you're using 30-minute charts or some type of equal cycle to go into a 6.5 hour trading session. What happened here on the pound, you can see, taking a look at that relative strength indicator moving into an overbought condition. What happens? Just simply the euro just travels sideways. You actually get another breakout candle right here. You get a rising 3 candle coming in at 9 p.m. last night. What does that set up? That set up the move to the 1.618 area. 151.79 was the target. Actually got up to 151.75. That, folks, is a beautiful thing. A little bit of a bearish engulfing candle forming right here in this 10 o'clock session. Should see a bit of a pullback here, but the pound is no longer getting pounded. We'll be right back.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
with the launch of TigerTV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With TigerTV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on TigerTV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out TigerTV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces. And over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks, and for any of you that are in the San Mateo, California area, anywhere near San Jose, San Francisco, or just anywhere, it's actually worth flying into, Tom O'Brien and Daryl Martin going to be doing a dynamic trading strategy workshop tomorrow. It is from 8:30 to 12 noon. All the details are on the homepage at TFN.com. 30 prizes being given away with over $2,500. Worth over $2,500 will be a great education. As long as you're over at the homepage of TFNN.com. Out of retirement, at least for a day, at least for an evening. Legendary Bud Rolfs, he's going to be doing the coming 4 years in the market, a workshop, a special report. This is going to take place next Thursday evening from 6:30 to 8 p.m. If you can't be there live, this will be archived on your members page. All the details of that on the homepage at TFNN.com as well. So check all that out, folks. Just simply great educate. Talk about education. What a week of education that is going to be out there between Saturday and next Thursday evening. Now, as we come back and just take a look at that Great British Pound U.S. dollar currency pair, what we have to really be paying attention to is this area that had been an old area of support and a strong area of support. In fact, that area of support really, you can take this all the way back, quite frankly, into the 2010 time. Well, let me take it back even further than that, because I'm going to just pull this line across the screen for everybody watching on Tiger TV. So, and it's going to be this line here. Now, this line here, we can line this up going all the way back to the low of September 7th, 2010. That low in the Great British Pound was 152.96. So 152.96. Now, here's the key with regard to, at least this is what I've learned with regard to support and resistance lines. You have to be willing to, just like with regard to Fibonacci numbers, you have to be willing to move it up and down just a tad. What you want to know, it's like being a pilot of a jet out there, and you're responsible for all the passengers in the back seat. And all those passengers, that's your money in the bank. And so you want to make sure that you know when to flip that seatbelt sign on. And as the Great British Pound U.S. dollar gets up into that area, that's where we should see turbulence, around the 152.96. The actual first area of turbulence that we should hit, and this is where it'd be easy, just simply go to the lowest swing point in the group, would be that January 13th level, 152.32. Right now, trading out at 151.50 out there. And so that is the area where we should see some turbulence coming in here. Now, the real key is going to be, this is the first time, folks, when I say this is the first time, I'll go back to the exact date, but in the last couple of weeks, was the first time that the lows going back to 2010 in the pound had been broken. That's how, and that area here was tested back in was really kind of, it first came down back in September 2011, then back in October, and that was rejected, came back and tested it in January of 2012, tested it here in May of 2012, finally broke through that area here with some conviction, did that the week of, the day of February 20th out there, broke that area, it was tested here, was tested on February 22nd, 222 out there, and the key is, especially with a line of support like this, is that old support becomes new resistance. That is the first area for us to know whether this move in the pound here is going to be real or not. If it can get back above that level, that ended up being a false break to the downside. Now, what is it that you can expect? You can expect, I would say, that you might see a spike just simply getting back up to that 0.382 level, 154.08. Why? Because you should start to see, if we haven't already, a short covering rally. I mean, folks that have been short since the highs of January, the beginning of this year, up at the 163.41, all the way down to the 148. That's a heck of a ride. That was a heck of a profit trade out there for sure. So, was there some short covering? Well, you never know, but there had to be some coming in yesterday. But there's still got to be folks that believe that they're on the right side of the trade. And quite frankly, until the pound gets above that old support line, which is now new resistance, I can see that that's where they would be hanging out and saying, hey, I'm in a good trade here. I expect a bounce. But the key difference here with regard to this bounce is you've got conviction behind the move. And on that intraday chart that we were looking at, we see where the patterns have changed out there. You got an explosive expansion pattern to the upside. So that is on the pound. Why is it important to be paying attention to the currency market? Well, that's going to be driving the U.S. dollar index. King dollar pulling back right now, and King dollar was up against huge resistance out there. And what I expect here, we'll also see the King come back and test its area of what used to be a resistance out there, and now we'll see if it's support. And that's going to be somewhere down around the 81.40 level, and right now trading out at about 82.14. 877-927-6648. Dow futures off just a tad right now. We'll be right back, folks.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. Just recently, on December 28th, Market Insight subscribers were advised to go long the QQQ, the NASDAQ 100 ETF, on December 28th at $63.91, and only 2 trading days later, after a huge jump in the markets, Market Insight subscribers were advised to sell the QQQ at $66.64 for a $2.73 or 4.27% profit to start off 2013. At the same time, Tom O'Brien had advised his clients looking for a more leveraged trade that they could have initiated a position in the QLD, the ProShares Ultra QQQ ETF, and over the same 2 trading days, Market Insight subscribers were able to lock in a $4.48 profit or an 8.47% gain in just 1 trade. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during your free trial and pay nothing. Don't miss out on the next great trading opportunity in 2013. Act today. TFNN legend Bud Rolfs has come out of retirement to bring you a special report and a one-time only webinar that will show you what's going to happen in the markets over the next 4 years. Bud Rolfs is the former chief technical analyst of the Tiger Trading Post at TFNN and is a true market innovator who has taught thousands of students how to read charts and be more successful traders. Don't miss this chance to learn from a TFNN legend and get this timely market advice that will put you on the right side of the market for the next major move. Plus, he'll show you his expert analysis on the current major markets and explain the technical setup that is predicting a move of over 50%. We're offering this one-of-a-kind special package for only $179, and the moment that you sign up, you'll gain access to Bud's 11-page executive summary where he provides you with the keys to his market call and prepares you for his live 90-minute webinar on March 21st. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind offer. Sign up today on the front page of TFNN.com. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're off to the races. We got the Dow trading down 34 points right now. Composite off 1, S&P off 3, trading out at 15.59. Small caps really not, basically flat out here, down 8 pennies. Google off $3. We'll go take a look at Google. That was running into its gap up area. We'll see if that is holding. You've got Apple trading up $6 right now, trade out at 4.39. Certainly will peek in on that chart. Microsoft down 10 ticks. Intel off 10 ticks as well. Cisco down 16. Apple leading the charts, the upside. You've got OGE Energy. OGE is the ticker symbol, up 7% this morning. Trading up $4 and change out here. Let's see, what is behind the move there? Looks like, CenterPoint and OGE are going to combine pipeline assets, so that is what is moving that. DirecTV up 4% right now. DTV is the ticker symbol. They're up about $2.50 out here. Let's see, what does DirecTV? I don't see anything in the marketplace. News-wise out here. Priceline up $2.60. Panel Universal Display is up a couple bucks. That's up 6%. That has had a hard time, but really having a hard time this morning is Alta Salon. Intuitive Surgical as well, struggling down about another $8 here this morning. Vernetics Holdings down about 10% this morning. So a couple of stocks here getting a haircut. Let's go peek in on some of these. Had a request as well from Suman to take a look at Harris Corp and Garmin. So let's start off our day taking a look at these stocks. Looks like Garmin here has certainly lost its way, but let's go take a look at the stock chart itself. So let me just refresh, make sure that I've got all of the data. You've got Garmin. That is, and quite frankly, Garmin, really, I think, impacting most people's lives with regard to GPS systems, whether they're, take a look at all of us that now use exact pinpoint GPS systems, whether it's on our phones, in our cars. It sure makes, at least for us guys, I can speak on behalf of the guy nation out there. What better invention could there have been when traveling with your woman in a car like having a GPS? Because now you can really say, yes, I know exactly where we're going, honey. And in the past, as you know, we always had to kind of fake it like we knew where we were going, when in reality, eventually we had to pull into the gas station and say, okay, really, how do we get from here to where it is that we're headed to? Now with Garmin, with GPS, we don't have to worry about that. So as we take a look at this stock, though, somehow it has lost its little equilibrium. Last time coming down into an area where it had broken out, that was the swing point of November 1st, 2011. That price area, 33.42, was the low. The high, 34.39. It gapped up right on that very next trading session, doing it with 4.5 million shares. So let's just draw a line across the bottom of that area. We know that we can, and I'm using the bottom of the swing point, we know that we can move that up or down just a tad. Let's go take a look at the volume here. So we'll take a look at Garmin. I'm going to use the volume of the actual session where it broke out just to kind of take a look at that as Garmin moved back into that level. There we go. I guess that's the black line now that is across the bottom of my screen. There was a little red line here. I'm going to get rid of that just not to confuse anyone if you're watching us on Tiger TV. So you can see here what happened with Garmin was it actually gapped down on February 20th. But when it gapped down, it didn't get into that swing point. At least I don't believe it did. Let's draw a line. We need to draw a line across the top as well just to make sure. So let me do that. That's so we got the two red lines. So it gapped down. Didn't get all the way down there. Now, came down with more volume on that day. And this day I'm referring to, folks, is February 20th out here. So February 20th gaps down with 6.6 million shares. That's more than the 4-point-something million shares on the day that it broke out. But it never really got down to the swing point. When it got into the swing point, though, it was doing it on lighter volume here. It was doing it on 1 million, 2 million, 1.5 million shares. The lowest that it got down to was on February 26th with 1.5 million shares. But there's no sign of strength inside this equity. So even though this thing has tested areas where it had broken out from, no real bullish signs out here unless you stitch a bunch of candles together. In fact, resistance is really just overhead. And the resistance here happens to be that downdraft day from February 20th. I'll draw a line across the screen here. We'll go ahead and put that one in black. And I'm assuming that what Suman wants to do here is he's looking for a entry price into Garmin. Yes, it's moved down into the oversold condition. But what I would do on a stock like this where you've got overhead resistance just above, and that level is 36.05. Right now it's trading out at 35.13. And, folks, if this thing even gets above that level, which has not been tested yet, you'd actually move the line down a bit. So we're going to say the real tested area of resistance on this is going to be the high from March 12th. That's going to be the 35.87 level. And when it first got up there was 997,000 shares going into that downdraft of 6.7 million shares. What you want to really see on this thing, because of that downdraft specifically, is you want to see a sign of strength. No, there is a little bit of volume up here at the highs, which were back in February of 2012. But what we can see is that was tested, and that was tested on lighter volume. So you want to be able to look for stocks. So this is a great stock chart, actually, just to use as one of our stocks that you would use in being able to teach people about volume at swing points. And what you're always looking for as you surf through your stock charts is you want to be able to find stock charts that have high volume highs out there. In this case here, if we were to go ahead and pull this stock chart back like this, so we won't cheat as if we don't know what's going on inside the right-hand side of the chart. So if you're watching us on Tiger TV, this is ideal. Now, when I say ideal, if you take a look at February 22nd, 2012, how about that? That number 222 keeps popping up. It was within me yesterday all day long, and seems to be there today as well. I don't really know what that means, but Right now, I'll assume it means nothing. But however, when you're taking a look at a stock chart, what you want to be able to find out there is high volume highs, because they will often get tested. That's a beautiful thing. Usually markets don't end on volume up at the high. Now, in this case here, you've got the stock that gaps up. It gaps up and it forms a little high wave, doji-style candle out there. And the meaning behind that candle just simply that it's a little bit tired. Maybe it's lost its way out there. And then the leaves start falling off the tree as it starts moving back. But as it was moving back into the area where it gapped up, was doing it on lighter volume as you take a look at this. Now, the problem here is that in this equity, back on the 2nd of May, it does a test of that level, but it does it on much lighter volume. Good volume that session, no doubt, 3 million shares. But that 3 million shares testing a high of 8 million shares, the tests of the highs have been done with regard to Garmin. Does that mean it's the end of the stock? I don't know. It just means that high volume high has been tested, and there is no more reasons for it to have to really go back up there. Could be just setting up a sideways consolidation trading range. The resistance, the real resistance, which has been tested here inside Garmin, is at August 20th level. Now that high there sets up at about 42.85, so that's your top end of resistance, assuming that it can clear its most recent gap to the downside. Let's go take a look at Harris Corp. That was the other stock that Suman wanted us to go ahead and take a look at here. If we take a look at Harris Corp, HRS is the ticker symbol right now, trading out at 44.42. It's below an visual area out here of support. You can take a look at this as we just draw the black line across the screen. Pretty easy to identify where the old support was, and now what we know with regard to Harris Corp is that becomes resistance. If you take a look at that level, you're using the highs of April 2nd out there, using the April 2nd, I should say, of 2012. You're using the high of April 30th, 2012 in that 45.74 level. And then we can see the stock gets above that area of resistance, comes back and tests it, does that on October 23rd, does it on November the 11th. That area holds, and now it finally broke through that level on March the 8th out there. Breaks through that level volume-wise, comes through there with about 1 million shares, and it was breaking about 1.3 million. So what you want to see if you're looking for a entry into this equity here, because it hasn't totally fallen apart. You did have some pretty good volume here where it was testing that area of support, old area of support, with 1.7 million shares out there, and that 1.7 going against about 1.4 is Harris would be a potential buyout here. I'm assuming that that's what Suman was looking for, if it can get back above and hold that old support level. Right now, it's resistance, and any tests of that area on lighter volume are nothing more than just testing to ensure that that is the area of resistance. That being the case here, you can see no platforms. The next stop on the way down, most likely right around the July 5th swing point high, right around 43.33. Could even make its way all the way down to the swing point area in July 23rd of 2012 into about the $39 level. As we take a look at relative strength or weakness in this, yes, it has moved into the oversold territory, but no bulls have shown up on this equity. In fact, just the opposite. You've had a falling 3 candle here to the downside. That's when we had a close below the March 11th close, which was 44.82, and that's what you're getting today. So today's trading action is giving you the falling 3 continuation pattern to the downside, and that was on Harris Corp. Let's go to John in Sarasota. John, thanks for calling. Thanks for holding. How are you today?
Very good. Thank you, Steve.
Great. Are you inside the FXB at this stage? That's what, folks, that's what John is calling about, and that's the ETF for the Great British Pound out there, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes. I am in it, and I'd like to know where it's going.
It's going to the moon. Let's go take a look at it. And nice trade there getting now. Now in the FXB, the thing that you've got to be careful about in this ETF is its real lack of liquidity. Yesterday had a nice day, and a nice day on this. We'll go ahead and actually pull it up on the stock chart. I believe this is the iShares for the Great British Pound. But just to take a look at if you take a look, folks, here at the liquidity. I pulled up the futures contract. Give me a second here. I know I've got it in here. So we're going to take a look at the FXB. So yesterday, I believe it did about 90,000, 97,000. Let me see what the actual number was. 102,000 shares out here. But on an average day, it's like about 25 to 30,000 shares out here. What you've got to do in trading this ETF, because it's really all revolves around what's going on in the currency pair, which is trading 24 hours a day, what I would be paying attention to the currency pair. And so where do I think this is going? I'd say it probably has the 152.38 to 155.79. That's what I would just identify there as your potential targets. But the real key, John, is going to be what happens in the actual currency pair. So in the other, 14 hours that the currency pair is trading, that the FXB is not trading, that's where you're going to really have to be focused on. And right now, it's going to be what happens right around the one. As you see that Great British Pound get up to the 152.67 level, what you want to see is you want to see it coming in there with a wide-ranging bar, close above that area. That would then set up the mere fact of the FXB making it to that larger number I gave. I think that was in the 155 level, which would be a 0.618 retracement. I don't know what that's going to correlate to on the actual currency pair. I don't know if the 0.382 retracement on the actual currency is going to equate to, which level on the, because it doesn't move tick for tick or anything like that on that iShares Trust. But you're in a good trade here. I think a nice bottom has been put in place, but the real key on this is going to be what happens at this level here on the actual currency pair as it moves in to about 152.67 to about 153, right in that area. You get a close above that, and you are in a very, very nice trade.
Okay. How about the MUB?
MUB. Let's go take a look at that. Is the ETF for municipal bonds out there. Is that a leveraged ETF or is that a 1-to-1? Do you know, John?
I think it's 1-to-1.
1-to-1. So let's go take a look at the MUB out here. MUB is trading out right now at about 109.67. Are you looking for a long position? Are you in it, looking to get in it, looking to short it? Tell me what you're doing, and I'll.
Well, I'm in it, but I have a put.
You got a put. Okay. All right. So let's go take a look. Let me just erase some things off of my screen here. So right now you've got the MUB trading into that December 18th swing point out here. And that swing point has 675,000 shares. I'm going to just draw the line across the screen for all of you folks that are watching on Tiger TV. And what you are seeing right now is it has moved into that swing point on lighter volume, substantially lighter volume. Still moving to the downside. And I would expect that what you should see on this is you should see a test of that 109.17 level, your 109.66. And that's going to release some information. Now, as you take a look at this chart here and just simply draw a horizontal line across the screen, what we can see is that same level, John, is a level of support. And that level of support was created by this bullish candle back here in July of 2012, July 5th specifically out there. And so I'll just move this black line up a tad, and we can see that, this now becomes a tested area of support. If we take a look at what the volume was back in that level here, that had a real big downdraft day on July 3rd when that moved down with 167,000 shares. So I suspect that you are pretty close to getting all that you probably can out of this trade here. You got a little bit lower to go before you get a real release of information, but you may have gotten most of the trade on this.
Okay.
All righty?
Appreciate the help. Thank you very much.
You bet, you bet. 877-927-6648. We'll be right back.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page at TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Dow off 37 points right now. S&P's down, perhaps the strongest out there. Really pretty much flat, down 75 cents. Let's check in on J.P. Morgan. The London whale, making another tail flap out here in the marketplace. As we take a look at J.P. Morgan, you've got some decent volume this morning. Now, gap's down, so that gap down. And bearish separating line candle, very bearish candle out here. Volume also behind this move, 16 million shares so far in only 24 minutes of trading. Now, that is coming into the level where it most recently broke out, which was March 4th. Gaps up the following trading session with 25 million shares. It will have no problem today dealing with 25 million shares. That low, though, and this will be an interesting to see whether or not J.P. Morgan can hold this area of support. Hasn't been tested. but still an open gap, open window, and we'll see if it can hold the low there. The first support level is going to be your low of March 5th, $49.31 out there. Your second level just slightly below it. That's going to be your high of March 4th. And that level is 49.14. If J.P. Morgan closes underneath 49.14, that level of support really was not a level of support. It will never have held out there. And, I would just simply erase those off of my charts. If it does hold today, if those levels hold, even with volume, it's telling you something about the strength still inside the marketplace, especially inside the financials out here. If J.P. Morgan closes below 49.14, then it will go ahead and make a run for its most recent swing point low. That is the February 26th level. And that's anywhere from a low of 46.85 up to 48.26. 39 million shares there. So that should have, now that has not been tested as well. That swing point has not been tested, and today's volume will basically be irrelevant unless you get a total drop down to the 48.26 level. So you'll want to benchmark volume. Should J.P. Morgan, but its first test has to be a close today below 49.14. It doesn't have to be today. Any time that it would close below 49.14 would go ahead and repair that gap up, would repair that window, and would tell you that no longer is an area of support out there. If you get tested for several days and you go ahead, and I mean by several days, 3 or more days, and then you go ahead and close that window and repair that window, I still then would go ahead and use that as a area now of resistance out there if the market were to get down below there. So that is on J.P. Morgan. The rest of the markets here, stay tuned. You got Apple. So how about this? How about this for a dichotomy of change out here in the marketplace? You've got the Dow's trading off 57 points right now. And you've got Apple up $8. How about that? Apple up $8. Intuitive Surgical, though. Let's go peek in on that stock chart. ISRG. I believe our man Mike in Lakeland had the puts on this, so he had one heck of a nice trade on this. This now coming after its swing point lows out here. Swing point low I'm referring to takes you all the way back into the July 23rd level. That low, 467.26. That has a volume of 946,000 shares. Boy, you were coming down into it. In fact, you tagged it yesterday with 1.5 million shares. So far today in early trading, whoosh, 564,000 shares. You get it closed below 467.26 on Intuitive Surgical, and that will head, let's see, where should that head to? Looks to me like that'll come all the way back to this area where where it did break down in January of 2012. So this is quickly getting back to January of 2012 in what looks like about a period of 2 weeks or so. Has moved all the way back to the beginning of January. That level 429.26 out there. Folks, our time is ended. It is Fantastic Friday. I want you to have a fantastic weekend out there. And always remember, you have an amazing power within yourself. And that power is so strong, it'll create a life of abundance, cure incurable diseases, build billion-dollar businesses, paint magnificent masterpieces, but most of all, build fantastic, loving families. Thanks for being a part of the TFNN family. Have a great weekend, folks.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.